Welcome to the Startup Grind.
Awesome. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm very excited to start today. I've been looking forward to this event for a month now because our speaker is truly awesome.
Oh, you're sweet.
You really are. First, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Wala Hamdan. I'm General Manager for Startup Oman. I've been here this is my third month, so I'm very happy to be leading the organization and I'm hosting today's event. But first, to tell you a little bit about Startup Grind Oman, we're a member of the largest independent startup community in the world, powered by Google for Entrepreneurs. We actively inspire, educate, and connect 400,000 entrepreneurs around the world in over 200 cities. As part of the local network, Startup Grind Oman works on exposing Omani entrepreneurs to the tech entrepreneurship scene around the region to demonstrate what it takes to succeed outside the borders of Oman. To introduce Joy a little bit, she is an e-commerce industry professional with experience that has spanned the globe. She has successfully raised funding for 2 startups from the most prestigious Silicon Valley venture capital firms, and it puts her in the top 1% of female entrepreneurs. She is passionate about using technology to solve persistent issues in emerging markets, as well as empowering women entrepreneurs to break out of traditional roles, especially in the Middle East, which is why I'm very happy to have you here, honestly. So the way this works, we'll be doing around half an hour of questions guided by me, and then we'll open it up to the audience with more questions, turn it into a discussion. After that, we have feedback forums, wrap up, and announcing our next event. That's pretty much
Awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah. So, you guys, I am super casual and super easy to talk to. So I want you to know, first of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me. That's really sweet. Anywhere that I can speak as an entrepreneur and as a woman, I'm very proud to do. And thanks for the introduction. And I've been in Oman, I think, for what, 6 hours?
Pretty much.
6 hours, and I really like it. It reminds me of California. I live in I'm from San Francisco. I'm from Silicon Valley, California, and it has a feeling of California, the mountains, and it's nice. It's homey. It feels homey to me. I'm a big believer in energy, but the energy here is quite lovely. Yeah. It feels warm and inviting. Not a big city that's drowning, so it's very nice. I'm happy to be here. It's good vibe. So
Awesome.
thanks.
So could you please tell us about your upbringing, where did you grow up, and how it influenced your journey?
Sure. So tell you a little bit about me. Can you hear okay? Yeah.
It's okay.
Actually, I don't need this. Can you guys hear me?
Okay.
So I'm from the United States. I'm of Palestinian origin. I'm the daughter of a refugee. Very proud of that. And my dad and mom are both Palestinians. One was a refugee in 48, the other one was a refugee in 67. So being a refugee, I think Palestinians embed in their families that since we have no home and we have no country, that education is the most important thing, because whatever country that we go in, we have to be better and smarter and more educated to fight for the jobs. So as a Palestinian, I think it's embedded in you to survive and to be a survivor. And I think that's something my parents have embedded in me. I grew up in a family of 4 boys. I have no aunts. My mother has no sisters. My father has no sisters. So I grew up in a family of men. And you would think that I would have been treated as a little girl, but instead they beat the crap out of me a lot. And I'm not exaggerating. My brothers and cousins beat the hell out of me. They each want to claim that they made me tough, each of them. I broke your rib, I punched you in the face, remember? I made you tough. But that's not a joke, that's actually serious. I did get beat up a lot. But so my dad raised me no different than my brothers. I didn't get any special treatment because I was a girl. The only thing that I did get embedded in, which I owe to my dad, which I have a great relationship with, he told me, Joy, go out and do whatever you need to do. try and fail again, because I'll always have your back. And I think because my dad instilled a sense in me that he's got my back, that I was never afraid to take a chance, because I knew that if I fell, that he'd catch me. So I always took chances, and I've always been a spirited little girl my whole life. I've always had the kind of personality where if you tell me no, I didn't matter to me. I kept banging down the door. In fact, if you come to my offices in Dubai, I have a big poster that says, "What is this word no you speak of?" So yeah, I talk about being an entrepreneur, and I believe that entrepreneurs are born. You have to have the DNA and the personality to be an entrepreneur. And I think to be an entrepreneur, you have to not be afraid of rejection. People ask me all the time, how did you become an entrepreneur? Well, I was born an entrepreneur. I'm not afraid to have doors slammed in my face, you know? And I think that's the most important thing, is that you have to be fearless. You have to have an idea that you truly believe in, right? And although everybody tells you, you know, when you're an entrepreneur, when you're raising money, you know, I love in the Middle East, it's very funny. They'll come up to you and they'll be like, do you make money? And I'm like, no, I don't make any money. I lose money. They're like, okay, well, you know, when you make money, come back to me when you make money. And I'm like, no, that's not an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is invest in me, invest in the idea. And when I make money, you'll make money too. So I'm of the situation where I've started a company in Silicon Valley, and I've raised millions of dollars from the venture capitalists in Silicon Valley for my first company. And I had an exit. My company was bought by LVMH. Everybody knows Louis Vuitton, right? Moda Operandi, LVMH bought my first company. I'm very proud of that. And as she eloquently said, you know, everybody talks about women, but even in Silicon Valley, California, of all funding, even in the United States, venture capital money only goes to 2% are women founders. That's it. And I've been able to raise 2 funds. So I'm very proud of that, and I'm Arab woman.
So it's 2% that companies that have women on the...
Who've raised a Series A and above.
That's crazy.
Yeah, in Silicon Valley, forget the Middle East.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I've raised 2 funds. I'm very proud of that. I've raised now this company called Fetchr. And just to tell you a little bit what Fetchr is like Uber for packages.
How about,
Yeah.
let me go through the questions.
Shoot, sorry.
No, it's fine, because I
Sorry.
can see how excited you are.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So to step back a little bit before your first company and before Fetchr, how did you even begin your career? How did it start?
It's actually interesting.
Uh-huh.
It's interesting. I was going the traditional route of getting married.
Okay.
My mom was like, you know, find yourself a nice Palestinian boy, get married, have kids. Khalas, success, khalas, you know. So I did the traditional route, and I was engaged to somebody who kept on making me feel like I wasn't enough as a woman. I wasn't smart enough, I wasn't driven enough, I wasn't a CEO. And this is a very true story. He broke my heart, and I went through a long series of sadness and depression, and questioning, like, why can't I do it? Why am I not enough? And I realized at that moment that I can do more, that I'm smarter than that I'm driven, and I'm gonna show the world that I can do more than that. So it evolved into starting my first company, which was called Bonfaire. And I'm telling you, I don't have an MBA from Harvard. I don't have a degree from Yale. I didn't go to Stanford. I had determination. That's it. Determination and the sheer will to make it happen. And I banged down every door with no experience, no background. And I just said, you know, the determination. And one of the venture capitalists said, you know what? I like your energy. I'm going to take a bet on you. And 9 times out of 10, when people are investing, they don't invest in the ideas. 9 times out of 10, they invest in the person. And that's a secret to raising money, is that, of course, you have to have a good idea, but they can see the sheer will and determination that you believe in yourself and that you believe in something. Because, you know, everyone says, how do you be a good salesperson? How do you sell the idea? You don't sell the idea. If you believe in the idea,
decided?
It sells itself because people can see that you truly believe that what you're selling is what you believe in. And there is no amount of selling and training that is going to replace you believing in your idea.
So what was your first company, Bonfaire or Bonfaire?
Bonfaire.
Bonfaire. What was it? How did you start it?
So it was an e-commerce platform for
Uh-huh.
undiscovered brands.
Okay.
Really what we created was really great technology. We created technology that was storytelling because everybody knows the traditional brands of Louis Vuitton and Chanel, they're easy to sell. How were we going to sell brands that are not Chanel and Louis Vuitton? So we created technology that actually created demand by creating a storybook where we talked about these shoes, how they're made, of a family in Italy, and how they were handcrafted and who's wearing them. And we created tech that actually was storytelling in a book, almost as if you're flipping through a magazine. And the item could pop off the shelf and tell you why they could buy it. So it was the technology that winded up getting us sold.
And how did you find these unknown brands?
We had buyers in Milan and
okay.
Italy constantly looking for unknown brands.
Okay, so it was a global platform, not just for brands in the U.S., not for brands in a specific market.
It was a little different because
Okay.
we had brands where you could buy them off the runway.
Oh wow.
So it was
Cool.
pre-ordering.
Yeah.
It was, we took you in a storytelling platform to the runway,
Okay.
and we sold you the fact that you're getting something that nobody has, and that it's new, it's not a label, and that it's something that you'll have before anybody else. And our
Yeah.
biggest customers were in the Middle East, by the way.
Yeah.
I know that you guys are all shocked that Arab women want to have the latest and the greatest, but it was the Middle East.
Cool. So how did that lead to your establishment of Fetchr? Because I read somewhere that you connected the dots.
Actually, crazy story. Life, guys, life is what happens when you expect it not to happen. This is life, right? I sold my company and my team.
What year did you sell the company?
5 years ago?
Okay.
6 years ago. Sold my company, and they took the whole team and everybody moved to New York, and I was living in Silicon Valley, California. I said, I don't want to move. I don't want to move. I'm happy in California. I don't want to move. That was it. So I made a deal with them that they took my partner and the entire team, and I would stay on as a consultant, but please don't make me to go, right? So the whole team moved to New York. About 6 months later, subhanallah, like life is weird, they said, oh, there's a group of Arabs coming looking to raise money from Silicon Valley, and you're Arab, and you had an exit, can you come and act as a mentor? And I was like, okay, sure. So I'm sitting in the audience listening to pitches, and my partner Idris got on stage, and he was pitching, and I literally was listening to all these pitches, and none of them were really good. I mean, I was like, oh my God, this is what the Arab world is called. Oh my God, oh my. Because in Silicon Valley, you get these guys out of Stanford who's like, I found a little pill that you can swallow, and it'll go through your whole body and take pictures and can identify exactly where the cancer is. Like, I'm used to that, right? And I have these people on stage in the Middle East who are like, I can make this hijab with sewing. I'm like, oh God. So I'm literally in the audience, and I'm like, come on guys, I'm an Arab. Is this the best that the Arab world can come up with, right? And then I heard Idris on stage, and he was like, I want to solve the problem of no addresses in emerging markets. So immediately I went, wait a minute. Because at my last company, I was selling stuff, and I was shipping to where? Saudi, Kuwait, Bahrain. I was shipping to the Arab countries, and every time I shipped the package kept coming back to me saying, I'm sorry, I can't find the address. And let me tell you, it was very expensive because we provided free shipping. So imagine, I was shipping to Saudi and the packages came back. And then all of a sudden I just said, guys, are you morons? Why do you have the wrong address on the box? And they were like, I go, where's the address? And all I saw was like, Fatima Salame, 05523. I'm like, where's the address? They're like, there are no addresses. I'm like, what do you mean there's no addresses? I was like, how do you deliver packages? And of course, coming from America, where, you know, addresses are, I mean, people show up at your door, I didn't understand. So here is Idris on stage talking about solving the problem of no addresses. I went up to him and I said, I love this idea. And he's like, wait a minute. He goes, you do? I said, out of everybody here, I love this idea. So I said to him, have you been able to raise money? And he said, no, they don't invest in Arabs. Silicon Valley doesn't invest in Arab companies. And I said, well, they invested in me, they know me. I had an exit, I sold my company. Are you looking for a partner? And he said, I am. I said, well, then let's do it. So he had the idea, I had the credibility. We paired up, we raised $11 million, and we're the first company in Silicon Valley, in the Middle East, to ever raise money from the #1 venture capitalists. Now, I say this with humility because that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure. Because they're interviewing Silicon Valley now, they're interviewing our lead investor, new enterprise associate. Imagine, the most successful and largest venture firm in the entire world. And they're asking them, why'd you invest in Dubai? Why'd you invest in the Middle East? You never invest in the Middle East. You invest in China, you invest in India. And he said, simple, they have a solution to a problem.
Yeah.
They have a solution to a problem. And we think it's going to be a global solution. So we feel a lot of pressure with this because with our success, guys, we open the door for them to say, hey, they sold this company for $1 billion. There's talent in the Middle East. There's smart people in the Middle East. The Middle East has minds and they have innovation and they have creativity. Who else is out there? And then they start bringing their VCs here to listen to entrepreneurs like yourself to pitch. So we feel an immense amount of responsibility and pressure to succeed because we feel like with our success, we open the door like the engineers did in India and like they did in China. We want to open the door to the Middle East, inshallah, my favorite Arabic word.
So what's your role in Fetchr? What have you, how have
Nothing,
you
I
been
do
involved
nothing.
at all?
I get
travel the world and speak.
I clean, I get coffee. You know, the funny thing is that I'm a California girl. You like the color story. So I'm usually in shorts and a t-shirt. So I always open the door to guys who come in from Saudi or from Kuwait. And actually, I bet you with shorts on, didn't I? And I'm always like, can I get you something to drink? And they're like, yeah. So I bring them something to drink and then I sit down. And they're like, why are you sitting down? And I'm like, I'm one of the founders, hi, you know. So it's always funny when Saudis or Arabs come in because can he get you something to drink? You know, so my job role at Fetchr is coffee girl. Coffee girl.
Founders all have to be coffee girls and coffee boys, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think you work more in marketing, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
So I'm creative director at marketing, and I wanted to do something different with the brand, right? I wanted to bring a little taste of Silicon Valley to the Middle East, because in order to be different, you have to be different. You have to differentiate yourself. You can't just come up and be like. I see some of the stores in Dubai, it's like sandwich and salads. Well, how is that, okay. How are you going to market salads and sandwich restaurant? I mean, or Chinese hub, okay. You must differentiate yourself. If you don't differentiate, marketing is really important. I mean, I believe that marketing is one of the most important things in a company because you got to make your brand known, right? And what I didn't want to do with Fetchr is I didn't want to do what everybody's used to in Dubai and in the Middle East, which was triple platinum, gold, luxury, golds, triple diamond. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be a brand that was about the people. I wanted to connect to everybody. And in order to connect to everybody, I wanted Fetchr to be about humanity. So all our cartoon characters are about all the people who work at Fetchr, whether they're Filipino or Indian or Arabs. I wanted it to be a brand that is accessible, that everybody can touch and reach and feel connected to. Because everything in the Middle East is about reaching for luxury. I didn't want anybody to reach. I wanted everybody to feel connected to the brand.
And how do you do that?
By making it accessible, like when we
How do you make it accessible?
When we do our social marketing and our social media, we do videos of the people who work at Fetchr, and they tell their stories. So when you're looking at it, it's like a social media page. You feel connected to the brand.
Okay.
Because it's humanity that connects you, right? It's the humanity. So I make the Fetchr about the company and about the people who work there.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
And you use social media, as far as I've seen, very strongly in developing the message and delivering it.
We need to do it more, but
Yeah.
I've been focusing on other parts. But yes, as soon as we close the second round of funding, I'm going to be back to full blow.
Inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah. Okay.
And I'm curious, how did you develop your business model? Because when I was reading about the business, like individual customers are important, but you're also working with like Marca VIP, for I don't know.
Yes.
So like the
Souk,
big
Nemshi,
names.
everybody.
Yeah. So who is your main customer, and how did you develop the business model to suit the needs of the market?
Well, we have two businesses.
Okay.
We have business to customer, which is the Souk and the Nemshis of the world use us. Traditional Aramex type
Yeah.
of business, except we don't need an address. We use your phone number as your address. So we have a patent that allows us to, wherever you are, if you're at Starbucks, we can deliver the package to Starbucks. If you're anywhere, because everybody's mobile. Nobody stays home for 8 hours anymore, right?
Yeah.
So we've created something that allows you to be mobile. We work around you, not the other way around. So we've created that technology. So you don't need to give an address. You just, like Uber, you press a button, we know where you live.
Find you, yeah.
It's the same thing with the packages. So that's one aspect of the business. We're the next generation of Aramex, if you will. Aramex and DHL and FedEx, nothing's changed in 25 years,
Yeah.
right? We're the next generation of shippers. And then you've got the B2C, which is really like the Uber model, which is you press the app, boom, you show up at your door, pick up this water bottle and drop it off to your mom down the block.
C2C.
C2C. So one is for businesses and one is for personal use.
And do you know which is growing faster, which is?
Well, businesses always, because it's a definite
Yeah.
number. So businesses always grow faster.
Okay.
But the C2C is growing pretty
Okay.
fast, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. What were the biggest challenges that you faced either in Bonfaire or in Fetchr so
Oh.
far?
That's the easiest question on the planet. People.
Okay.
Finding good talent with a
Uh-huh.
good work ethic is the most difficult thing to find. It is really hard to find people who have a work ethic. And for me, I'm type A. I seem like I've had 40 cups of coffee, right? I'm like this naturally, no coffee. It's hard to find somebody who takes ownership and prides themselves. What makes Silicon Valley great is that, when you work at companies like Google or you work at companies like Facebook, you wear the t-shirt and you're proud. Because you belong to something bigger than yourself. I work at Google. I mean, even if you're cleaning toilets at Google, you're still, I work at Google. Here, what I've noticed in the Middle East, which is difficult, which I'm trying to change, but it's very hard, is that how do you motivate a driver, right? I think that's what's been challenging for me in the Middle East is that the people the faces of the people that see your customers are these Indian and Pakistani people and the Filipinos, the working class that you brought in. This is your company. This is the face of your brand. I mean, these are the guys who are knocking on the door and saying, "Fetch your delivery," not you sitting behind a computer at your desk. We don't invest enough in humanity. We don't make these people feel like they've got a future, that they're a part of your team. It's not about money that you motivate them. I've noticed with Fetchr, what motivates my team is that they feel proud. Like you ask them, they're like, "I work at Fetchr. I work at Fetchr." Because we promote them from within. And I've brought that American culture, which is like, look, I don't care if you're Filipino, Indian, Pakistani. I don't see any of that because all I see is one thing. You work hard, you're going to be rewarded. And that has resonated with them, where I'll come to the office and I'll be like, "Why are you still here?" They're like, I want to finish my work. They care. It's not money. It's not money that motivates people.
Of course not.
Okay? It's about recognition and making them feel connected to the brand and appreciated and that they have a future. Because at the end of the day, what I've noticed in the Middle East is that we forget these are human beings who are making money to feed their families, and they want to succeed too.
Yeah.
And their success is your success.
Yeah.
It really is. Because if they represent your brand and they do a good job, you're going to get more business, right? It's funny thing that I noticed here in the Middle East as well as comparative is that in America, if I go to a hotel, like the Marriott, and I don't like my room, and I call up and I go, "I don't like my room, it's next to the elevator." oh my God, I'm so sorry, let me change your room. And you know what? Here's a voucher for dinner for free. You eat on us for free. And you know what? The room is free. Okay? I'm like, whoa, whoa. I don't know if anybody's been to America, but customer service is unbelievable.
It is.
All right?
Yeah.
Guess what? Next time I'm gonna go stay. Where do you think I'm gonna stay?
You're gonna be.
I'm gonna stay at a Marriott. You're damn right. So what the Middle East does, which is wrong, and I'm trying to change it, is that you guys, like, they're worried about this dollar. Well, who cares about losing this dollar? You got all this money in their pockets that you're gonna lose because they ain't never gonna come back.
True.
Right? And that's the mentality that I try to instill at Fetchr, which is like, it's okay, it's free. It's free, go ahead, take it for free. I am so sorry, it's free. Because that person's gonna come back. And that's what you gotta think. Long-term business, not short-term, right?
I want to go back to the point of competition at DHL. How are you, because they are pretty big companies, how are you competing with them?
So I think in a startup,
Uh-huh.
the three things we say in Silicon Valley, which I'm proud of, is execute, execute, execute. You have to execute, execute, execute. You can't be focused
Yeah.
on what everyone's doing. Because if
Okay.
you look backwards,
You're gonna.
then that's the direction you're gonna go in.
Yeah.
You just gotta be laser focused on what you're doing and do it well, right?
Yeah.
Are we worried about Aramex? Aramex is not our competition.
Who is your competition?
And DHL is not our competition.
Okay.
If I worry about anybody, I worry about Uber.
Okay.
Because they're in tech and they're able to deliver packages. So if I worry about somebody, I worry about Uber. Do I worry about Aramex and DHL? No. We're integrated with DHL.
Okay.
We're partners with DHL.
Okay.
They need us. We do all their last mile delivery in Saudi
Okay.
because we do it better. So I'm not worried about the big guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how would you differentiate yourself or stay ahead of Uber?
Oh, I don't know about that. That's a
Yeah.
hard one. Well, Uber's got a lot of problems
Yeah.
right now.
Uh-huh.
So I don't really differentiate myself. I just focus on, they're not really focused on the Middle East, and I'm
Okay.
focused on the Middle East. So I want to get my foot in the ground here
Yeah.
and solidify myself as quickly as possible. And that's really the name of the game. Yeah. Again, I'm just focused on doing what we do well.
Awesome. And what is your ultimate goal for Fetchr?
So my ultimate goal is to IPO
Okay.
or have a crazy acquisition.
Okay.
So it's not the money that drives me.
Uh-huh.
I have no kids, I'm not married. My goal sounds corny, but I bought a piece of land in Palestine for my
Really?
last company in Ain Arik.
Which part of?
My last company when
No, which part of Palestine is
Ain Arik, Ramallah.
Ramallah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I plan on giving all my money away. I don't need it. And I'm not driven by money.
Can I have it?
In life, I believe that I've been blessed because I have a higher purpose. I believe in that.
Yeah.
I'm Christian, you're Muslim, but we all worship the same God.
Yeah.
But I believe that if you have a higher purpose for what you're doing, that the universe will answer you. And I have a higher purpose. My higher purpose is to give back. I believe that being a father or a mother can't be your end goal. You have to do something to better someone's life and let anyone know about it.
Yeah.
You do good and you throw it in the ocean, and if you can do that, then your life had meaning.
Yeah.
So that's my belief.
So how do you envision reaching IPO or exit?
Execute,
and just let it.
execute. Just
Yeah.
focus and execute.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. 90% of all startups fail. That's a
Yeah.
fact. And I say this all the time. We're either going to be $1 billion company or we're going to bankrupt. Because 90% of all companies fail. But so far, we've been very, very good. We're closing a second round of funding. So I'm very proud of that too. But it's not me. It's all
You're
every
at
day.
2,000 right now?
2,000.
The last figures we found online was 700.
Yeah, how long ago was that?
No idea. Ask
It's on
Adam.
the website.
Yeah, that was a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're at 2,000.
How did you reach 2,000?
Saudi.
Yeah. Interesting.
Saudi, woo, Saudi.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Saudi's growing like crazy.
Which countries are you in right now? Saudi Arabia?
Saudi, Egypt, Bahrain, Dubai, and Oman.
Oman.
Yeah.
Next,
Yeah.
Oman.
Yeah.
Oman. And I think after that, we're looking into Pakistan.
Oh, cool. Going,
We'll see.
inshallah.
Yeah.
Should exiting be the ultimate goal of an entrepreneur?
No, because exiting, you mean, well,
Yeah, exiting or IPO, like what should be what should the ultimate goal of an entrepreneur be then?
you know, most entrepreneurs dream of IPOs and mergers. To be honest with you, a merger and acquisition is easier
Okay.
because an IPO
Would be too much,
oof.
yeah.
So,
Too much paperwork,
it's
too much,
tons
yeah.
of paperwork. So an IPO is difficult, but
Yeah.
I think most entrepreneurs dream of an exit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. To move on to the next big thing,
Yeah.
to retire on the beach.
Usually, when you have a successful exit, you go on to be a venture capitalist,
Yeah,
which means that you've had the experience, so you join a VC, so you can give money to
Invest.
other
yeah,
entrepreneurs. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. What's exciting to me is that the entrepreneurial environment is becoming more and more embedded in the Middle East, and I'm excited to see that. I'm really excited to see that. You know, there's Souq.com just got an acquisition
Yes.
from Amazon, right? And now Ajlouny is giving them 200 million more. Did you read about that?
I didn't see that part.
I love it. I love it when two
Yeah.
giants are fighting for your company. It's exciting. So yeah, so with exits like Souq and Kareem just reached $1 billion company. You know, it's nice to see these companies that are homegrown here in the Middle East.
Yeah,
You know, I'd like to see more and more money from Silicon Valley
inshallah.
invested here,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
and I know Startup Grind from San Francisco.
Yeah.
This is my hometown. Yeah.
So, you mentioned that part of what motivated you to become an entrepreneur was the feeling that you needed to prove yourself.
It was.
What else kind of came together? Because what was your first job? Like, how did you go
My first job?
from job to entrepreneurship?
First job was making cookies
Really?
in an Italian pastry when I was 16, and I put on 15 kilos.
No wonder.
And then I didn't go to the prom because nobody wanted to go out with me. I was just like living the place. It's true. I've done all kinds of odd jobs. I
Yeah.
like making money because I preach this to women all the time. Making money as a woman, I'm sorry, a bunch of dudes in the room, but it gives you a feeling of dignity.
Yeah.
It's dignity. It's self-respect. It's not about the money. It's about having a goal and then creating it. It's exciting. It makes you feel good about yourself, right? And I preach that to women all the time. Like, okay, get married and have the kids, fine. I don't want to unpreach that because I'll be in trouble. Although I don't believe in that. We won't go there. But I try to preach women to have an identity other than being a wife and a mother, because it's not enough.
Yeah.
You need to make your own money, accomplish things. I don't care, whatever it is you do. But you don't have to be an entrepreneur, but do something that you go to work, you accomplish something you feel good about it. You know? And it's nice to have your own money in your pocket. It's a feeling of freedom.
Yes.
You don't have to ask somebody for money. It's nice,
Agreed.
right? And your husband will find you more interesting because then you can come home and say, excuse me, I got work to do. And then all of a sudden, you become more interesting. Because you are more interesting, right? As a person, you have something exciting that you did to contribute in a conversation.
Is there some, like, how do you, because you are passionate about supporting women and
Big time.
helping them expand, I guess, into entrepreneurship and employment. And two parts to my question. What do you do about it? And because you've already said, but like, how can they actually do that?
So whenever there's a startup,
Uh-huh.
they come to me and they say, can you help?
Yeah.
I always jump in and help.
Okay.
I can't help with raising money.
Yeah.
I can help with introductions.
Mm-hmm.
What's exciting, what's different about Silicon Valley, which is different than the Middle East, is that In Silicon Valley, if I wanted to talk to Steve Jobs, I can make a phone call and Steve Jobs will see me.
Yeah.
Here in the Middle East, everybody, like, if you want to see the big wigs, they're like, there, they have something called FOMO, which is a very common term in Silicon Valley, called fear of missing out, right? It's like you got this little geeky entrepreneur, and he's just like, can I talk to you? I have an idea. And if you're like, get out of here, you cockroach. Then he goes on
And
with
that's
his
something.
idea to another venture capitalist, and next thing you know, it's a multi-billion-dollar company. And you're like, uh-oh, I kicked that guy to the curb. I didn't want to. So in Silicon Valley, we have FOMO, fear of missing out. So everybody's going to want to listen to you because you never know who's got the next great idea, right? Right? You never know who has the next great idea. I mean, WhatsApp, right? The guys from WhatsApp, they were in Ukraine.
Yeah.
6 guys in a garage. They were like, come on, I got an idea, I got an idea. In Ukraine, everyone told them, drop dead. I'm not going to listen to you. You make money? Okay, come back to me when you make money. You make money? No. Okay, well, come back to me when you make money. Well, they went to Silicon Valley, and they were like, love the idea, here's money. And then I think it was 17 billion to Facebook. 6 guys in a garage. And that's the other thing that needs to change here in the Middle East, is that I can open up right now in a garage in Silicon Valley with $200. In the Middle East, it's expensive to start a business. Ask me. The fees and the licensing. It's hard enough for a company like IBM to come here and set up. Like, how do we make it, as a community, easier for, because all these guys have is great ideas, but they got no money. And, you know, between the licensing fees and the visa and this and that, how do we make it easier for entrepreneurs, young guys, to thrive? That's what we should be focused on.
The second part of the question, how can women move ahead with careers and or become entrepreneurs? Like, what is it that you think is the first thing they can do?
Have an idea that they believe in.
Okay.
Number one thing, you got to have an idea, right?
Okay.
You have an idea that you truly believe in, and then with ultimate determination, truly believe in it. Because I'll know in 5 minutes if you don't.
Yeah.
You can come to me in 5 minutes, I have an idea. Blah, blah, blah. If you don't believe in it, I'm going to feel in 2 minutes you don't believe in it. Have an idea, and just go for it. Guys, well, before we got funded for Fetchr, I got the door slammed in my face by at least 50 venture capitalists. Stupid idea. I don't like it, it's dumb. Everyone's going to tell you you suck. Everyone's going to tell you it's a stupid idea. Everyone's going to tell you it's not going to work. It's you and your determination. So I try to preach to women to have thick skin,
Yeah.
to just keep at it. Because persistence is what wins at the end of the day. Just sheer persistence.
I'm going to go back to a little bit more operational side of Fetchr for a minute. Do you work actively on product development or looking at like what else can we do to the market? Like I saw something on your website, Fetchr Now.
Yeah.
I think that's a new service. How do you work on launching new services?
So we ask, the best way to get information is to ask your customers.
Okay.
What do you need? Right?
Yeah.
If you put 50 people in a room and you just say, hey, what do you need? You're going to get the best information that way. So we put everybody in a room and we're like, what do you need? They're like, well, Fetchr's great, but sometimes I need it right now. So I was just like, oh, there's an idea. We didn't come up with that idea. The group came up with the idea. So now we have Fetchr Now, which somebody's at your door in 20 minutes to pick up something and deliver it immediately. It's right now.
And that's available in all your markets?
It's in Dubai right
Dubai.
now.
Okay.
Yeah. And Egypt.
Okay.
Saudi has a lot of laws and regulations. That's a whole other story.
Very interesting. And how do you grow and scale the company from 700 to 2,000? Like what actually goes into that?
Expansion, country
Yeah?
expansion.
Okay.
Yeah. Every time you expand into a country, you need operations, warehouse guys, drivers. It adds up. It adds up. So I'm gonna give you a number that's gonna scare you. I have 2,000 employees, right?
Yeah.
How much do you think the visa cost for 2,000 employees is?
Oh, that's a lot of money.
In dollars. Does everybody know dollars?
A few million?
So it costs in Dubai, it costs about 5,000 dirhams.
Oh.
So that's almost $2,000.
Yeah.
So imagine if I have 2,000 employees, you're talking about, how much are we talking? 4,000, almost 440, what?
4 million.
Yeah,
4
dirhams.
million.
Yeah,
Okay.
just for visas.
Yeah.
400,000.
So how do you
Yeah.
help entrepreneurs?
We need that much money.
Where are you going to get this money? Right? So this is where what I would love is the Middle East to be more focused on making it cheaper for
Mhm.
to make the ground fertile to plant these seeds,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Agreed.
And how do you develop further features? Where do you see Fetchr going as an app, as like the software, the technology? Do you have any?
Well, I mean, we want to have more and more features.
Yeah.
We're going to eventually have something where we collect cash,
Okay.
so it almost becomes a banking tool.
Mhm.
But that has a lot of laws and regulations
Yeah.
that have to be cleared. But a lot of people exchange money in the Middle East with cash. Nobody likes credit cards.
Yeah.
So we're working on the features for cash.
Mhm.
We're working on Fetchr now, which is an outsourced platform. How do we crack the problem of drivers that don't work for Fetchr to collect cash? We're working on that. So there are a lot of added features,
Mhm.
but it takes time and a lot of tech. And tech is slow, you guys. Tech is
Yeah.
painfully slow. It takes a long time to develop tech.
Agreed.
And finding good tech guys is very hard.
Yeah.
Anybody, engineer?
Usually entrepreneurs say that it's like the most difficult challenge is for them to find,
Good people.
well, to find cash. That's what people
Oh.
think is the biggest challenge. What do you think is most needed for success of a startup?
Well, I mean, you need cash, but
Uh-huh.
again, you need cash because the soil isn't fertile to help people. So I think entrepreneurs would need less cash. I mean, the WhatsApp guys did it in their mother's garage with $200. Literally, I'm not exaggerating. So how do you make it easier so the bright minds don't need as much cash? That's something
first.
that everyone talks about. Oh, we want to be the next tech. Okay, that's great, but what are you going to do to help these young bucks? That's the, how do you build these incubators where you help them?
Yeah.
Because guys, I can tell you something, we got 11 million in funding, and that in dollars, and that money went really fast.
Mhm.
Let me tell you, it went really fast. And we were one of the rare ones that raised that kind of money. How many other people are going to raise $11 million? Not many.
Yeah.
Most people will raise $100,000, $200,000. How do you make that go fast? I can tell you if they're doing a business like ours, couldn't get started. Right?
Yeah. And what has been the toughest moment in your startup journey so far?
Toughest moment in my startup journey. There's quite a bit.
Go ahead.
Probably my toughest journey is having no life. No, really, I have no life. I mean that.
I believe you because of our conversations the past week.
I literally, my whole life is this company.
Yeah.
And I'm up at 5 in the morning, and I go to bed at 10. I literally, if I work half a day, I work 12 hours.
Okay.
And I work on the weekends.
Yeah.
So I think the hardest part has been having a balance in my life.
How do
And
you
this is a woman who has no kids and no husband, so imagine, like, I can't imagine, like, it must be doubly hard to
Yeah.
be a woman with a family to do it. It's hard. It's hard. It's not for everyone.
Yeah.
Being an entrepreneur is not for everyone. It's rejection, it's long hours, it's struggle. Every day is a struggle. It's not for everyone.
How do you see yourself? How do you see yourself overcoming this challenge? Because from from just my own personal experience, I burned out. How do you see yourself? Yeah.
So
Hopefully not burning out.
that's a really good question.
Yeah.
That's a really, really, really good question. Don't know. I exercise, I swim, I try to
Okay.
eat healthy, I stopped eating meat. but that worked for about 2 weeks. And then I smelled lahme meshwiya, and that was it. I dropped to my knees. All I can tell you is that I try.
Okay.
I try to exercise. Exercise probably is the number one thing that I say is really important for my sanity. I swim 3 times a week. You got to move your body. You got to move your body. You have to. Because if you don't, then you just go from the chair to the bed, to the chair, to the TV, to the chair, to the bed, to the TV. And you don't move. And it's important that you circulate the blood because it changes your mood, it changes how you think, you feel better about yourself. So I'd say the thing that I use to cope is I swim 3 times a week.
Okay.
Yeah. Exercise is really important.
And we're getting close to wrapping up my questions to open it up to you guys. So I'll just ask 1 or 2 last things. What's next for Joy Ajlouny?
I want to go home.
Where is home?
Oh, San Francisco.
Yeah.
No. What's next for Joy Ajlouny? I want to get our company to a place where we raise our B, which is coming, and then raise a C. My dream, other than the charity angle, is to be a spokesperson for Arab women. Because I'm so frustrated with this Kim Kardashian generation where Arab women have gone back 20 years. I've never done this.
Yeah.
You can look on my Instagram and Facebook. You'll never see a picture. I want to be the spokesperson for. I see a lot of my Emirati friends, and they have a picture of their wedding dress, and on their phone, and I go, "Oh, are you getting married?" No. Well, why do you have a picture of your wedding dress? This is my dream to get.
Oh.
That's your dream. Walking around with a white dress is your dream? Like, don't you have any other dreams except to wear a white dress? So I want to be the spokesperson for Arab women with my success to say, like, guys, Arab women are smart. We could do so much more. So what's next for me is to be the ultimate spokesperson. To get enough credibility with Fetchr that I can speak on even more platforms. I got invited to be at the World Economic Forum. Huge honor. Huge honor. Queen Rania asked me to speak. Another huge honor. So with more and more recognition, I'm more of a voice to speak out about as an Arab woman. That if I could do it,
So can you.
so can you.
You're definitely my new role model.
Oh,
Seriously, because one of the biggest things that I find challenging and interesting is how to be, because I look at myself as not a very typical Arab woman, and I like to find people who kind of reflect that as well and see what they're doing and how far I can get.
You have to.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. I'd love to be a role model for
Yeah, and I think we need women.
more role models.
Yeah, role models who are actually doing something useful.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not this.
No. No. So, last question or two.
Aren't you guys sick of me now?
No, I'm sure they have quite a few questions as well.
We do.
Awesome.
Uh-oh.
We're gonna grill you some more.
That looked like I'm in trouble. You guys just came late. I just want to say, was I not that interesting that you didn't watch all earlier? Or was I like not that? I was like,
You were racing traffic.
oh yeah.
Sure. Basically entrepreneurs.
Like if you're fired.
So, what were the things you wished you knew when you were starting? A few, maybe 1 or 2 things.
Wish I knew when I was starting this company.
Or Bonfaire, either or.
Oh. Probably how much personal life I was going to lose. I wish I knew a better way to balance life and work. Yeah. I think as we grow and become more solidified, I'll be able to let go a little bit.
Okay.
But I think in the beginning of any business, it takes up all your time and effort, right?
Yeah. And what is your advice to any entrepreneur, aspiring entrepreneur in the room? What would you tell them?
To have thick. You know, I was telling her earlier, I love this saying. It's one of my favorite. When you truly don't care, what somebody thinks of you, you've reached a level of freedom that's frightening. Did you guys hear that saying? Okay. Now, when you genuinely don't care what you look like, what somebody says, if somebody slammed the door in your face, if they think your idea is stupid, you're too fat, you're not pretty enough, your kids aren't, when you truly get to a point where you really don't care, that's freedom. And I tell every entrepreneur in the room to learn to get a thick skin and not care what anyone thinks, except for what you think of you. That's all that matters, is what you think of you. That's it.
Agreed.
Yep.
Cool.
So, anybody?
So questions from the audience.
Uh-oh.
Please, go for it.
I have two questions. One question is, how does the creative work happen inside Fetchr? And my second question is, in Dubai or in the UAE now, they've introduced kind of a number or a serial number for every building or postal address. And from what I understand is that they're trying to do the same thing for Oman. How's that working for or against?
Great question. So I'll answer the first one. The creativity comes from, you mean on the marketing side, on the product side? Creativity on the product side or marketing side?
On the product, I mean, on the product, how do you get together inside a firm to decide on new products? Is there kind of a process that you follow?
Yeah. So product, we usually constantly ask and seek. We have study groups of people that we get together, and of friends and family that we put into a room, and we ask them, what do you want to see? What do you need? What's important to you? And we just literally sit there and let them talk. Like it would be like like right now what we have. And I just say, what are you looking for in the app? What's missing? We give them the app, we let them try it, we give them free deliveries, they try it, and then they come back to us with feedback. And we take that feedback really seriously. That's how we come up with product, is that we ask the actual people who use the product. That's your best audience. So the address system that you talked about is a great question. So it has to be a language that everybody speaks. And it's not a language that anybody speaks. So there was another company similar to what they were doing with the government by putting the addresses on the doors. They're doing that now with the newer buildings, and they're trying to incorporate it, but it's not being adapted. Nobody's adapting it because it's a language that nobody speaks. It's like there was a company called 13 Words. Has anyone heard about them? They were coming up with 3 words. Where, you heard about them? Where they could deliver a package using 3 words and they can notify your address. Well, that's great, but nobody speaks that language. If you speak Italian and I speak French and you want to, if soup.com wants to use 13 Words or soup.com wants to use this language, unless everybody knows it and uses it, it's going to be a language that's not going to work. So it hasn't been adapted well. But your phone number is something everybody uses. You gotta remember that changing behavior is the hardest thing to do. It's the hardest thing to do. I remember when I had a laptop and everybody was using the yellow pages. Does anybody know what the yellow pages are? You do? I remember I was like, Mom, all you gotta do is go on Google and type Dr. blah blah blah. No, I want to use the yellow pages. Mom, nobody uses the yellow pages. Guess what? I've not been able to change her behavior. She still uses the yellow pages. But my point is that changing behavior is really is very difficult. And these numbers that you're talking about is embedding a language. Good luck. Where your phone number, everybody knows that language. So we're going with what you know, right? Yeah.
Awesome questions. Who else?
I just came back from California a week ago.
Where?
I used to live in San Diego. I graduated from San Diego State University.
Oh, you had a good time.
Yeah.
San Diego State.
Nice
Nice. The most beautiful place on the planet, right?
Yeah, and you were just seeing that it's
Did you
hard.
study? Just be honest. Did you study?
I actually graduated with honors, so I did actually study.
Are you an
I knew how
engineer?
and engineering as well. Yeah.
Okay.
But besides that, you were saying that it's hard to change the mentality of people, right? And it's one of the biggest challenges. So how do you think we'll be able to change the mentality of women in the Middle East? And how can you take it? And which approach are you thinking of taking?
Great question. So I'm of an age where my friends are all divorced. Okay? And All my friends are divorced, and they're all Arabs, by the way. I don't have any American friends. All my friends are Lebanese, Palestinians, Saudis, Kuwaitis. They're all Arab. They're all divorced. I'm of an age group now where everyone's divorced. They're asking themselves, what am I going to do with my life? My kids are off to college, and what am I going to do with my life? When more and more divorce gets it's growing. You see the divorce rate in the Middle East, it's growing. And more women start realizing and teaching their children that take care of yourself, have a job, make your money, then behavior is going to change, because the day and age of staying married to the same person and having a husband support you and feed you and take care of you, those days are changing. It's changing. Even in the Middle East, divorce rates in the UAE are growing. They're up to 50% now. So I think changing behavior is going to be with mothers who tell their daughters and the next generation, get an education, do something with your life, feel proud, make your own money, have a husband and have children, but do something.
I'd like
Right?
to add
That's
to
how it's
that.
going to change. I think the divorce rate is going to help that a lot. Is there a big divorce rate here in Oman?
It's growing.
It's growing. Yeah.
I'd like to add to that too. I think sometimes when girls are growing up, they don't know what's possible. So they don't know how far they can go until someone shows them how far they can go. Through role models, through learning, through traveling, through experiencing stuff. So I think just pushing girls out of their comfort zone.
You have to teach your daughters, really, that you're no different than a boy, and that you can accomplish anything if you put your mind to it, right? By giving them the security to fail, like my dad did. Give them the security. Baba, go out and fail, I have your back. You'll see what they'll do. Having that security will make your girls soar, because they know you have their back. So
My dad did the same.
Did he?
Yeah, so I agree, definitely.
Yeah, and women get their self-respect, by the way, in psychology, not from their mothers. They get their dignity from their fathers. Did you guys know that? In psychology, yeah. So it's fathers who are teaching their daughters. It's your generation to, you're no different than a boy. Go out, get an education, make some money.
Do stuff.
You want to get married to somebody you're in love with? Great. You don't? Great. Make money, earn, do something, feel proud about yourself. This is the voice that we need to get out. Not pictures of wedding dresses on our cell phones.
Yeah, and selfies.
And
Yeah. We have a question here. Go ahead.
I asked you how you see the Fetchr in the future, particularly in the Gulf region, if I talk especially for Oman, as a solution provider to the public post office service. Because we see that they want, in recent times, when we talk about Oman, we see that they do want to give us solutions, but they don't have. And they have a lot of money, they have a lot of resources, prime locations, everything they have. But
Can I
how do
talk?
you see that?
Can I?
Go ahead.
So we've partnered with Omani Post. We'll be releasing that in a press statement. Fetchr is going to be partnered with the Omani Post. So now you'll be getting your deliveries with no headache. So she's leading it with Ihab here. These are the two people who are leading it. So yes, you'll see a lot of it, but it'll be powered by Fetchr. It'll still be the Oman Post, powered by Fetchr. So your answer is, you see,
business card. I need to.
your wish has been answered by this lovely lady sitting right in front of you, who's very smart, and she came to Dubai, and see, we're two women doing business.
Yeah.
And by the way, my best employees are women. You know why? They have no ego. No, really.
That's
And everybody asks me, you're a woman in the Middle East. How are they taking you? And you know what I tell them? Very easily. I have no problems. Everyone goes, discrimination, blah, blah, blah. Absolutely not. I've been treated with nothing but respect, and I've had absolutely no problem. Actually, when we negotiate, my partner Idris is a man. When he goes in and he negotiates, the energy with a man and a man, he goes, خلاص قلت لك هالقد وخلاص. رجال رجال أبطال خلاص. I come in and I go, can we haram? Please. سمحت. So I tell Idris, go. He's like, okay. And I go, خلاص. And the guy, he's not like macho with me.
Yeah.
He's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yalla, yalla, okay, yalla, elek. So I find it to be an advantage, but I don't conduct myself as a woman. I get discriminated against, and I look at her, and she's got black eyeliner out to here. I'm like, really? Nobody's looking at me. and I pull them over, and I go, look like a businesswoman, be treated like a businesswoman.
Yeah.
Right? So I've never had any problem with discrimination as a woman in the Middle East. Actually, it's been a wonderful experience for me. I've been treated with nothing but respect because I conduct myself that way. Right?
Who else has a question? Please, in the back.
I have quite a few questions. I'll let you answer them.
No, I don't want to answer anyone. No. Leave me alone. I have a shawarma sandwich waiting for me. Go ahead.
Okay, so you said that 90% of startups fail.
Yes.
Any particular reason why they fail?
Not a good idea, lack of funding,
Person.
partners fight, they break up, not able to find talent, lack of execution skills, being at the wrong place. A little bit of luck helps as well. I tell Idris all the time, you're lucky you met me, otherwise, fellas. A little bit of luck. There's many reasons, but there's not one particular one. But I can imagine that the numbers here are higher because of the sheer fact of the expensiveness that it is. I think money is a big consideration. I think if I were to answer that question, I'd probably say money.
You give the example of Marriott, right? When in Marriott, if you're inconvenienced, they give you, they give you the night for free and stuff like that. So, I mean, there has to be a line that you have to draw. Where do you draw this line?
Customer's always right. Customer's always right. You have to think, I want to get all the money out of their pocket. I don't care about losing $2 today because he's going to spend $100 with me. You have to think strategically. You can't be small-minded. And the Arab world is very small-minded. They go, you don't like your sandwich? Tuz alek. I'm not going to lose 2 dirhams. Tuz. Well, I'm never going to come back. You have to think that you want to get all the money out of his pocket. You want a lifetime. You want a lifetime of spending. You can't think this moment. You have to think lifetime. Lifetime value. That's how you make money. And you keep loyalty is the hardest thing to get. Marriott's a master at that, by the way. Marriott hotels, they've mastered the art of loyalty.
Any other? Yeah.
Sorry.
One last one.
Question.
Yeah?
With Fetchr, how has your experience been with authorities, like the government?
Bad. Very bad. Very bad. Very bad. Bad. I'm naturally defiant. So sometimes Idris is like, not a word, not a word. And I'm like, So I'll tell you, it's been difficult for me. I'll tell you the funniest experience I've had, you'll laugh. I was driving in Dubai. The first week I was there, some guy came and he swiped me and scratched my whole car. And I was like, was scared, right? So I rolled down my window and I said something really bad. I said the U word, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, out the window, like,
Yeah.
So next thing I know, I get a phone call. You need to come down to the police station. I'm like, why do I need to come down to the police station? This is my first week in the Middle East, right? And they're like, all of a sudden I walk in there, there's this Egyptian guy, and he's screaming, right? And I'm like, what's going on? So I was with Omar, and my Arabic is not too good. So he's like, not a word, not one word, don't open your mouth. So I'm like, what? He's like, comes back to me, and he goes, did you scream F you out the window? And I was like, yeah. So what? The guy almost killed me. He's like, you're not allowed to say F you. I said, you're not allowed to say F you. I'm coming from America. I'm like, it's illegal to say F you out the window? And they were like, yes, it's illegal. So that was my first taste of authority in Dubai. Anyway, so what you were going back to your question with authority is that not very good. Because I'm defiant naturally. It's my spirit to break barriers. So I've been a little bit working on that, but not good.
Another question?
If you have money, what is the next IT industry will invest in?
If I have money,
Yeah.
what do you mean? You lost me.
What's the next tech or project that you would invest in if you have the money
venture
for it?
capital.
Oh, if I was a venture capitalist, what would I invest in? Oh, well, I mean, that's a hard one. It depends. I mean, I wouldn't have invested in Snapchat. I think it's stupid, but I mean, I mean, when I saw Snapchat, I go, what is this crap, right?
Yeah.
But like, you know, how many billions later? So I don't know. I don't know what I would invest in. I mean, me probably like how to get out off of anything that is not dependent on foreign oil. Probably like companies like Tesla. You know, anything solar panels, anything that can take me off the dependency of foreign oil would probably be something I would invest in.
Agreed.
Yeah. What? Was it something I said? What happened? You're fired.
This culture of entrepreneurship is growing, you know, although slowly, but it's growing.
Yeah.
But you see also the culture of funding of, you know.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. I see a little bit more in Dubai, for sure. Sheikh Mohammed just came out with a law that allowed you to go bankrupt 3 months ago. Okay, how can you be an entrepreneur if you can't go bankrupt? 90% of all startups go bankrupt. Can you imagine I'm a young entrepreneur, I got no money and I'm worried about being thrown in jail. So it's slowly changing. We're not there yet. But laws like what he did with allowing bankruptcy. But then you also have to understand that, and I say this with respect, what makes America great, and please don't put Trump into this. All right, I did not vote for the man. Okay. I didn't vote for Hillary either, just for the record. I voted for nobody. First time in my life I voted for nobody. But what makes America great is you have these schools, Harvard, Yale, Stanford, MIT, you have all these great schools, and they attract all these bright minds from all the best places, India, Pakistan. They have all the smartest and the best minds, they come to these universities in America. Well, guess what? The government goes right over to them right afterward, and they go, Silicon Valley knocks on the door, and the government knocks on the door, and they go, here's a passport, come, stay in America. Here's a job for $200,000 a year. Please stay. And guess what? They stay because you offered them a job and a passport. What makes America great is not Americans. Americans are not great. What makes America great is the Pakis and the Indians and all the bright minds that come from all over the world. Silicon Valley would be nothing without them. It'd be nothing without them. You think it's the Americans that make Silicon Valley great? Please. It's the Arabs, the Pakis, the Indians. It's the foreign brains that come and stay. So what we need to do here in the Middle East is give a passport and a job to a Syrian refugee who's brilliant but has no money, or a Palestinian from Gaza who's brilliant but has no money. You can't invest in buildings. You have to invest in brains. What makes a country great is the brains, not the buildings. And that's something that we need to focus more on. To bring the smart, like don't be like, he's a Syrian, like I hate, you know, I hate that as an American. I hate when I go somewhere and they're like, had the Saudi, had the Shiite, had the Lebanese. Like, come on, like where is the unity of being an Arab? Where is that? Like where is that unity? Where is that? We're so divided. And you know what, as a Palestinian, I say this with my heart. You go to Israel, all right, and of course I've been in America, I have an American passport. They don't care if you're a Russian Jew, an Afghani Jew, a French Jew, an Italian Jew. You're a Jew. And they bring you in and they help you because you're a Jew. Here as Arabs, we're all divided, and it frustrates me. We need to bring brains in and nourish these brains. And that's something they do in America that I wish they would do here.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other?
I have a personal question.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Are you free this weekend? Seriously, it's not a date, but we were talking about life-work balance, and I think Oman can provide one of the answers to that. I promise you an experience, an adventure that you will never forget.
Oh,
and
that's
I can
nice.
pitch there about my startup.
Where, in Dubai?
No, in Oman.
If you stay
So
for the
if you are
weekend.
staying through the weekend, or you fly
I'm
back to
actually
the
leaving tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. But I can hear you tonight.
Whenever you are want to visit
I
Oman,
always listen to entrepreneurs because I love hearing bright ideas, and if I can help, I'd be glad to help. If I can introduce you to investors in Dubai, I'd be glad to help.
Sure.
I mean that. I do whatever I can.
Cool. So you guys should talk after.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know if you allow me to ask any question. I came late, but I have an ask small question about your business modeling you're using for the Fetchr. As I understand from your website, I think you have an employee just to take an items from or request the item from somebody in the mobile and just send it to another person. This what the business modeling you're using right now, which is sharing economy, or you have an employee?
It's a great question. We do both. We have the Uber model, which we have outsourced drivers, and that's for Fetchr now. So for Fetchr now, we use outsource because it has to be immediate. And for not an immediate delivery, we use our own. But eventually, we're doing everything outsourced. Everything will be outsourced. We don't want any employees.
And you have right now in place two business modeling?
No, we do both. We have our own drivers who do same-day delivery, and then we have outsourced drivers who do immediate delivery, which is now.
Which is better.
Yeah, which is better.
But just from cost perspective, which was more costly from your perspective?
Absolutely now makes more money, outsource model, absolutely.
It's
Costs
better.
me nothing. Costs me nothing. I give 80% of the money to the driver.
Really? 80%? Okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
And for scalability, I think it's better for you.
Yeah,
Just if you
absolutely.
can-
Absolutely, but
how many
if you
branches-
want to add more and more features, like the money thing, like if I want my driver to go pay for something, how are you going to get the money in a driver who's not yours, in his hands? These are the products that we're building. You see what I mean? In other words, if you're an outsourced driver like Uber and you press a button, you're like, oh, this guy needs a package picked up and paid for. How am I going to get the money in your pocket to pay? These are the products that we're developing.
Do you have a software to protect yourself from if anybody stole your money or for
Oh,
the countries?
well, this is what we're, for the outsourced drivers, this is
Yes.
what we're working on.
There's a lot of problems you
And there's a
have.
lot of banking laws as well that, we're working on it.
Working on it.
Why, you have any ideas?
No, just ask. Because there's a concept right now, I think, spelled in Saudi Arabia, 3-4 company, just depends on the sharing economy.
Yeah.
And as I understand from their website, it's very successful there, and there's a lot
What's
of
it called?
Allah, I forget. Sal, the one. It's called Sal or Sal. I forget the name right now, or maybe I'll send it to you by email if you want. There's 4 or 5 business modeling already built in Saudi Arabia, which is I like it. And the growth is very high, scalability very high.
I'll have to look it up, Sal.
I think it's Sal or something. I forget the name anyway. I'll send it to you by email if you want. But the scalability is high,
Yes,
the cost is less,
yes.
but you have to protect yourself for the best cases or some cases.
Saudi is not an easy place to do business, guys. Let me be clear, okay? Saudi is very difficult. The laws in Saudi are very difficult. So, and a lot of people operate there illegally, and they get shut down. So we don't want to operate illegally. Even Kareem was operating illegally for a long time. You guys know that, right?
But right now it's allowed in Saudi Arabia, Saudi and Kareem and Uber.
Kareem, la.
No, Kareem, no. There's still
Right now it's allowed.
No,
Uber
in
and
Saudi?
Kareem as well, yeah.
No, it isn't Saudi.
Just be careful.
And Uber.
They're upstairs.
No, they're here.
Ah. Hey. Oh,
No,
you're
is
the
it?
Kareem
Is
guy.
Kareem legal in Saudi?
Right now, yes.
Oh, it is.
Okay.
Just recently then.
Very
Yeah,
recently.
and Uber
just
as well.
recently.
I think and Uber as well.
Just recently.
Very
Yeah.
recently.
Okay.
This is the best modeling I
We
think
should
it's
talk
in new
later,
in
I'm
Middle
curious.
East.
Yeah.
Sharing economy.
Yes.
Nobody uses it for delivery. Sorry, but my question maybe it's coming later. But there is nobody uses the sharing economy in the Middle East. Except
That's what we're doing for packages.
yeah, except Saudi Arabia, sorry. Except Saudi Arabia, just I'm trying to find who is built the same business concept.
Can we move on a little bit because we're losing the crowd? We We are, because everyone's talking in between themselves. تفضل.
That's good.
Thanks for
That's okay, fine.
first of all.
Oh, thank you.
Second of all, what would you say is the sort of some of the setbacks you faced apart from the regulatory hurdles?
Setbacks,
Tapping into the Middle Eastern market.
government,
Apart
regulations.
from
The government's been the number one setback. It's not easy. Opening a business here is not cheap.
Is it
It's
rules
not
or
easy.
bureaucracy?
It's the red tape. Okay. It's the red tape, guys. There's a lot of red tape. It's not easy to just open a business here. You need to be in the free zone, you need to be in this zone, you can't operate on this zone. If you're operating on this zone, you need this license, you gotta get that. Ooh. I mean, honestly, that's probably my biggest one. But my second setback, people in the Middle East are very demanding, and they're not grateful. They're very demanding. They're the most demanding customers I've ever seen. It was raining in Dubai, right? I'll just give you an example. It was raining, and one of the drivers that wanted to deliver a package got into an accident. The guy didn't get his package. So I personally sent an email, really apologize, we'll get it to you, it was the rain. He's like, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn if it's the rain. I said, the guy died. Okay,
Oh, wow.
he did, he died. I said, the guy died. I said, we had an accident. He's just like, well, if Deliveroo can drop him, there's no like
Appreciation.
really appreciation.
It's as if they're used to it.
They're used to being entitled.
Yeah.
There's no gratitude, and I've noticed that no one ever says, "Hey, thanks, you got that to me. Really appreciate." You never hear the gratitude. So it's a tough audience. So I think one of the uphill thing is that even if you provide the customer service, there's no appreciation, and that's been hard for me. That's been hard for me because it's nice to say thank you.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah. Any other questions?
Just one last one. Sorry. When you started up, I'm assuming you're not an engineer or like. I'm sorry.
An engineer?
I'm sorry if I assumed that, but when you went to find like the talented people, the engineers, the developers, how did you convince them?
That's my job. That's what I do. You sell the dream. We hired the chief marketing officer from Kerim. We hired the chief engineer from Kerim. We brought them over. I believe in stealing good talent. I don't believe in hiring talent. In the Middle East, you find somebody good, you steal them. You convince them in what it is that you're offering. You convince them. Again, it wasn't the money that brought these people over. It wasn't the money, guys. It was the vision that they're creating something that they'll be valued and appreciated. It was not about the money. Culture is a big deal. You got to have corporate culture. And what convinced them to come on board was the culture.
What's your culture in Fetchr?
What you see in me. I'm the one who embeds it. What you see in me and how I am is
an extension of
it's
you.
the extension of me because culture comes from the top.
Yeah.
Does that include a feminist culture?
Oh yeah, I have tons of great women working for me. And it's yes. Yeah. It's about the culture.
We're giving him a chance to evaluate.
Yeah, it's the feedback forms.
Oh yeah.
تفضل. Go ahead.
At what stage of the venture capital graph do you see yourself? And where is your audience for raising the next round of capital?
So we've already closed the next round of funding. We haven't made an announcement yet, but we closed it. And actually, we're in a situation right now where people are, we're in a fortunate place where we have different investors saying, wait a minute, don't take that money, take our money. So we're in a fortunate place. But that's how it works when you're raising money. If you have somebody really big throwing down money, everybody follows. So you really want to, it's just the nature of FOMO, right? Where are we at? We're closing our B round. We've gotten the money from Silicon Valley and from Dubai. You need both because raising money when you start growing, you need to raise money that has value, not just money, right? So you start looking at different people's money and you start saying, what do you have that's going to help grow my business? Like if you are the owners of malls, okay? And you're like, I want to put money into your business. Okay, well, you're going to get me all the business from the mall, so it's going to increase my revenues. So you start thinking in value add. What do you have? What is your money going to do that's going to add value to my business? When you get to different stages. In the beginning, you just get money. You just need money, take the money. But as you get more and more, you start thinking about how are you going to help.
Could you disclose the amount? Because I'm curious.
Yeah, I can. We're raising about 40 million.
Wow. Mashallah. That's awesome.
So I have a quick question. When you're tackling any kind of legislation issues with the government, are you doing it as an individual, as a company, or is there kind of some critical mass in Dubai where, as a group, you're trying to?
No, we go as Fetchr.
As Fetchr.
Yeah, we go as Fetchr. It doesn't make a difference. There's no specialties in Fetchr. They don't treat you any different. I wish they would. Because you're shining a light on Dubai, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like if we were in Oman, we would hope that the Oman government, if we started here, we would hope that the Oman government would support us. But Dubai, it's all equal.
But in terms of other entrepreneurs kind of gathering to tackle specific legislation that's affecting
They talk about it, and it's slowly being changed. It's slowly being changed.
So is there any lobbying, just as an extension to that?
I
Do you
wish.
lobby?
I wish. No.
No?
I wish.
Okay.
There's a lot of forums where people talk about what can be done, but they implemented the bankruptcy law, so that's a start, right?
Okay.
You're so cute.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have.
We'll get back to you. Tfaddal.
Before you become an entrepreneur, you were imagining yourself to become a future like this? You were imagining yourself this is your now?
No. I never thought in a million years that I would be in the Middle East. I didn't go to New York because I didn't want to leave California. That's what I'm saying. It's funny how life, like, I wake up sometimes and I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, I live in California. I have my house in California. Like, how did I get here? I never imagined that I would be here. To be in Dubai? No.
I mean, not to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, it was my goal to be an entrepreneur. Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah, it was my dream to create something. Yeah. So I guess I'm living my dream.
But in a different place.
In a different place, in Dubai. It brought me back to my roots, right?
Yeah.
I'm an Arab at the end of the day. I'm 100% Palestinian, so close enough, right? The Gulf is close enough.
Your question.
Yeah, my question is, can you elaborate more about your partnership with the Oman Post? And when you will start the operation, how to approach, or who to approach? Is it Oman Post or Fetchr?
So it is
business.
Oman Post.
Okay.
We're just providing, it's a JV, it's a partnership, but it is 100%, it's Oman Post, it's powered by Fetchr. So we're providing the technology and the know-how, but it is Oman Post.
Okay.
So if you want something, you'd have to approach. Actually, Ihab.
Is it like a franchising business or?
No, it's a joint venture based, owned 51% by Oman Post and 49% by Fetchr itself.
So we hope we do a good job for you guys, and we hope you get your mail and that you're happy.
Would that include services like Fetchr now?
Well, there's going to be some kind of staging until we get up to the mark with all the needed services. I mean, the now service is there, it's in the schedule, but we wouldn't start it at this year. So
but yes, we will.
Yeah.
And it'll be outsourced completely. You're sharing one.
And when will you launch operations here?
Or we expect to start in the coming 60 days.
60 days. Awesome.
Because we have
Inshallah.
already some projects that are good now.
Does anybody have a good name? We haven't come up with a name.
For the joint venture?
Yeah, what's a good name for the Oman Post Office? Anybody have any ideas? What about you? You're so cute, I want to take you home. Do you have any ideas? What's a good name for a post office? What would you like to see? You got a name? Like what? Bunny Rabbit Post Office?